Doctor warns, the worst poison, destroying your nerves and causing neuropathy. When persistent sensations of tingling begin to manifest in your feet at night, or perhaps your hands frequently feel numb without any immediately discernible cause, and you find yourself experiencing unexplained burning, stabbing, or sharp electric pains that seem to elude diagnosis and understanding from medical professionals, it is imperative that you dedicate your attention to the insights I am about to share. The information contained within this discussion may shed critical light on the underlying reasons why your delicate nerves are currently enduring distress and, more significantly, offer a pathway to halt this insidious damage before it progresses to an irreversible state. This is not merely about suppressing or managing pain symptoms as they arise. Rather, it is fundamentally about safeguarding and protecting the intricate network of your nerves, while there is still a window of opportunity to do so effectively. Allow me to articulate a very clear and unequivocal promise to you right from the outset. By the culmination of this comprehensive overview, you will possess a profound understanding of the singular, most detrimental poison actively assaulting the nervous systems of seniors today. This insidious poison, alarmingly, is something to which a vast majority of individuals are unknowingly exposed on a daily basis, largely without recognizing its pervasive and destructive influence. Furthermore, you will gain precise knowledge of the factors that place you specifically at risk and, crucially, comprehend the urgent and necessary modifications that must be implemented, not at some nebulous point in the future, but rather commencing immediately. My name is Dr. Robert Harrison, and for several decades, my professional life has been devoted to the profound challenge of treating elderly patients grappling with the debilitating symptoms of nerve pain, chronic numbness, the torment of burning feet, disconcerting loss of balance, and that pervasive condition many are unfortunately advised they simply must learn to live with, neuropathy. Among the most profoundly frustrating observations I have made throughout my extensive career is the consistent and widespread misinformation patients receive regarding the true etiology of their nerve failure. All too frequently, they are erroneously informed that their condition is simply an inevitable consequence of aging, an unfortunate genetic predisposition, or an unavoidable fate. Yet, in a staggering number of cases, these explanations are simply not rooted in truth or scientific accuracy. Therefore, with this critical context in mind, I now pose a direct and vital question, which serves as your immediate call to action. Have you personally experienced any form of tingling, persistent numbness, or an unceasing burning sensation in your hands or feet? And, perhaps even more importantly, have you ever considered the alarming possibility that fluctuating blood sugar levels could be silently and progressively inflicting damage upon your nerves, even if you have never received a formal diagnosis of diabetes? I urge you to share your response in the comment section below, for the simple act of awareness represents the inaugural and most crucial line of defense against this silent assailant. It is a sobering truth that once nerve damage transgresses a certain critical threshold, the prospects for genuine recovery and reversal become tragically diminished. We seldom, if ever, receive second chances in the delicate realm of nerve health. To illustrate this profound point, permit me to recount the experience of one of my patients, a gentleman named Frank. Frank was 68 years old, had recently embraced retirement, and despite his age, remained an impressively active individual. However, his daily life was increasingly marred by distressing symptoms. His feet would burn intensely throughout the night, his toes felt perpetually numb during the day, and without warning, sharp electric pains would suddenly shoot through his legs. These were not minor discomforts, but intrusive and debilitating sensations. Initially, Frank was given the common, yet often inaccurate, reassurances. It was likely just a byproduct of aging, perhaps a minor circulation issue, or simply one of those things that happens in later life. But when we initiated a more thorough and investigative approach, meticulously delving deeper into his lifestyle and physiological markers, we uncovered a profoundly different explanation. We discovered a daily exposure, something he had always perceived as entirely innocuous and harmless, was, in fact, gradually and systematically poisoning his delicate nerve tissue. Once this subtle yet destructive element was identified and subsequently eliminated from his routine, the nerve damage, though not instantly reversing overnight, unequivocally ceased its progression. This cessation of deterioration marked a pivotal turning point for Frank, fundamentally altering the trajectory of his health and quality of life. The crucial question that I want you to retain and contemplate is this: what precisely was this hidden poison that afflicted Frank, and how many other seniors, entirely oblivious to its presence, are inadvertently feeding it day after day through their seemingly benign habits? To fully grasp the answer to this critical inquiry, it is essential to cultivate a fundamental understanding of the nature of nerves themselves. Nerves are not inert electrical wires, as they are often simplistically imagined. They are exquisitely complex and living biological tissue. They are remarkably delicate structures, profoundly reliant on a constant and stable supply of oxygen, a rich array of essential nutrients, and a precisely balanced internal chemical environment to execute their myriad functions flawlessly. Furthermore, in stark contrast to tissues such as skin or muscle, which possess remarkable regenerative capacities, nerves heal at an excruciatingly slow pace, if they heal at all, once severe damage has occurred. This inherent biological characteristic means that nerve damage tends to accumulate silently and imperceptibly over extended periods. Long before you begin to experience the unsettling sensations of pain, tingling, or numbness, your nerves may very well have already been under a sustained and silent assault, suffering significant compromise without any outward indicators. Now, we approach a phase of this discussion where the truths may become somewhat uncomfortable, yet they are vital to confront. The most devastating poison systematically devouring the nerves of seniors is not some dramatic, overtly toxic substance like industrial chemicals or rare, exotic venoms. It is not even alcohol, taken in moderation by itself. The worst poison, rather, is something infinitely more commonplace, a pervasive element deeply embedded in the modern diet and lifestyle, something many seniors are, paradoxically, actively encouraged to consume regularly under the guise of health. The most destructive poison systematically obliterating your nerves is chronic blood sugar toxicity. And this particular insight is absolutely critical to internalize. You do not, I repeat, do not need to have a formal diagnosis of diabetes for elevated blood sugar to inflict catastrophic damage upon your nerves. You merely need to experience repeated and frequent spikes in your blood sugar levels. And tragically, millions upon millions of seniors encounter these damaging spikes every single day, completely unaware of the silent havoc being wreaked within their bodies. When blood sugar levels consistently ascend to abnormally high concentrations, excess sugar molecules begin a relentless process of attaching themselves to the delicate fibers of nerve cells and, perhaps even more critically, to the minuscule blood vessels that are specifically tasked with nourishing these nerves. This biochemical interaction initiates a cascade of detrimental events within the nervous system. It triggers a profound inflammatory response, generates significant oxidative stress, a process akin to cellular rusting, and directly compromises the integrity of the myelin sheath, the vital protective coating that insulates nerve fibers, enabling rapid and efficient signal transmission. Over time, as this damage accumulates, nerves progressively lose their intrinsic ability to transmit clean, accurate, and rapid electrical signals. This is precisely the point at which the initial, subtle symptoms typically begin to manifest. First, a vague tingling sensation, which then progresses to persistent numbness, escalating further into intense burning, then sharp shooting pain, and finally, often most debilitatingly, a profound loss of balance and coordination. It is one of the most widespread and dangerous myths in senior health that neuropathy suddenly materializes out of nowhere. It simply does not. Instead, it is an insidious condition that develops silently, often for many years, diligently progressing in the background while the destructive poison continues its relentless work. Let me pose another crucial question, one that demands your honest introspection. Have you ever been informed by a medical professional that you are borderline diabetic, pre-diabetic, or perhaps told that your blood sugar levels are a little high, but nothing too bad? This seemingly innocuous classification, often dismissed as non-urgent, is frequently the precise juncture where the silent processes of nerve damage commence. Indeed, contemporary medical studies now unequivocally demonstrate that prediabetes causes significant nerve damage almost as frequently and severely as full-blown established diabetes. The critical and alarming distinction, however, lies in the fact that the vast majority of individuals suffering from prediabetes remain entirely unaware of their condition and consequently unaware of the silent destruction unfolding within their nervous systems. I wish to pause here, as this is often the moment when many individuals interject with a common refrain, stating, "But I eat healthily, and I believe you." It is crucial to understand that most of my patients initially held this very same conviction, and therein lies the crux of the problem. This particular poison is not overtly obvious. It cunningly conceals itself within foods and dietary habits that, on the surface, present themselves as perfectly wholesome and beneficial. Let me meticulously guide you through the step-by-step mechanism by which this insidious poison exerts its destructive effects. The process typically begins when you consume something that triggers a rapid and significant spike in your blood sugar levels. In response, your pancreas releases a surge of insulin, a hormone designed to facilitate the uptake of this sugar into your body's cells for energy. However, over an extended period of repeated exposure to high sugar, your cells gradually become resistant to the effects of insulin. This phenomenon, known as insulin resistance, means that sugar remains circulating in your bloodstream for prolonged durations, rather than being efficiently absorbed. Consequently, your delicate nerves, particularly the lengthy nerve fibers extending into your feet and hands, are repeatedly and persistently exposed to these toxic levels of sugar. The tiny, fragile blood vessels responsible for nourishing these vital nerves also become compromised and damaged. As a direct result, the delivery of essential oxygen to the nerve tissue diminishes significantly. Lacking adequate oxygen and nutrients, your nerves slowly begin to starve, gradually losing their vitality and function. And because this entire degenerative process unfolds with such agonizing slowness and subtlety, most people fail to connect the underlying cause to their emerging symptoms. They often exclaim, "It came out of nowhere," when, in reality, the damage has been steadily accumulating for many years. Here is another compelling question that I want you to consider. If chronic blood sugar toxicity is indeed so profoundly damaging, why then do not all seniors with elevated sugar levels inevitably develop neuropathy? The nuanced answer resides in a complex interplay of exposure frequency, duration of exposure, and individual nerve resilience. It is true that some individuals' nervous systems possess a greater inherent tolerance for sustained abuse than others. However, once the cumulative damage to these nerves crosses a certain critical threshold, the symptomatic manifestations invariably appear, and often their progression accelerates with frightening rapidity. Now, let us turn our attention to the practical aspects of where this insidious poison originates within the context of daily life, often in plain sight. The first and arguably most significant source is liquid sugar. This category encompasses a wide array of beverages, including seemingly innocent fruit juices, popular sweetened coffee drinks, various sports drinks, and even many so-called healthy smoothies. Liquid sugar, by its very nature, enters the bloodstream at an alarmingly rapid rate because it lacks the crucial presence of fiber, which would otherwise slow its absorption. This swift influx creates sharp, dramatic spikes in blood sugar that directly and aggressively harm nerve tissue. Seniors, regrettably, are frequently advised that juice constitutes easy nutrition or a convenient way to obtain vitamins. In the harsh reality of nerve health, it is, ironically, one of the fastest and most efficient pathways to poison their nerves. The second major source of this pervasive toxin is refined carbohydrates consumed in isolation. This includes ubiquitous items such as plain bread, many breakfast cereals, crackers, white rice, and pasta, particularly when these foods are eaten without the accompanying presence of protein or healthy fats. These refined carbohydrates are chemically structured to break down into simple sugars with remarkable speed upon digestion. Seniors are often, again, misguidedly advised to consume easy-to-digest foods. However, the very characteristic of easy digestion often correlates directly with a rapid release of sugar into the bloodstream. This surge of sugar then has nowhere else to go but into the circulating blood and directly onto the vulnerable nerve tissue, causing widespread damage. The third source, often overlooked, is constant snacking, also known as grazing. When the hormone insulin remains chronically elevated throughout the day due to frequent consumption of carbohydrate-rich foods, nerves are denied any critical period of respite or recovery. There is no recovery window during which they can repair or stabilize themselves. This sustained elevation of insulin and blood sugar is precisely why continuous grazing is particularly detrimental to long-term nerve health. Nerves absolutely require stable and consistent internal conditions to survive and function optimally. Perpetual exposure to elevated sugar keeps them in a state of chronic inflammation, further exacerbating damage. Now, let me unveil a piece of information that the vast majority of people never encounter, yet it is profoundly significant. Certain medications can quietly and subtly worsen existing nerve damage by actively interfering with the absorption of vital nutrients, particularly the crucial B vitamins. Specifically, a number of common medications, including certain acid-blocking drugs, various diabetes medications, and even some cholesterol-lowering drugs, statins, can, over time, lead to a significant depletion of vitamin B12 stores within the body. Vitamin B12 is absolutely essential for the maintenance and repair of the myelin sheath, the protective coating that surrounds and insulates nerve fibers. Without an adequate supply of B12, nerves become exposed, inherently fragile, and begin to misfire, leading to a host of neurological symptoms. Consider the case of Susan, another patient whose story vividly illustrates this point. Susan had endured numb feet for several years, a condition her previous doctors had simply attributed to the inevitable process of aging. When we conducted comprehensive testing of her nutrient levels, the results were stark. She was severely deficient in vitamin B12. The underlying cause of this deficiency was not her dietary choices, which were generally wholesome. Rather, it was a common medication she had been taking faithfully for many years without realizing its long-term impact on her nutrient status. Once her B12 deficiency was identified and meticulously corrected through appropriate supplementation, her nerve damage, though not fully reversed, unequivocally stopped progressing. This critical halt in deterioration made an immeasurable difference in her comfort, stability, and overall quality of life. It is important to emphasize that neuropathy is rarely, if ever, attributable to a single causal factor in isolation. More often than not, it arises from a complex interplay of chronic blood sugar toxicity, pervasive inflammation, significant nutrient depletion, and compromised circulation. However, among these contributing factors, blood sugar toxicity consistently acts as the primary accelerant. It is, quite literally, the gasoline poured onto the fire, dramatically intensifying and speeding up the destructive process. This distinction is profoundly important because nerves possess a distinct tipping point. Early damage might manifest as intermittent tingling or mild numbness. However, more advanced and extensive damage inexorably leads to debilitating pain, severe balance problems, a heightened risk of dangerous falls, and ultimately, a tragic loss of independence. Once nerve cells die, their capacity for regeneration is extraordinarily limited, making Reversal extremely difficult, if not impossible. This is precisely why identifying and stopping the source of the poison early in the disease process is so critically important. Here is the message I want you to absorb with absolute clarity. Neuropathy is not universally reversible. However, in a great many cases, its progression is entirely preventable from worsening. And this achievement alone, the prevention of further deterioration, can profoundly safeguard and preserve your quality of life, your mobility, and your independence. This brings us to the most crucial question, marking the transition to the solutions and strategies. If chronic blood sugar toxicity is indeed the primary poison relentlessly devouring your nerves, what then possesses the power to neutralize it? What effective measures can be taken to protect these vital nerve tissues? And what practical, straightforward modifications can seniors implement to effectively halt the progression of nerve damage? In the subsequent part of this discussion, I will meticulously outline how to pinpoint hidden blood sugar spikes, reveal the singular, most impactful eating rule that offers profound protection for your nerves, identify the essential nutrients that your nerves desperately require after the age of 60, and equip you with the knowledge to discern whether your specific nerve damage may still reside within a stage where some degree of reversibility or significant improvement is genuinely possible. Now let us transition to the segment that genuinely empowers you to take control. If, as we have established, chronic blood sugar toxicity is the silent, pervasive poison relentlessly devouring your nerves, what specific interventions can effectively neutralize its destructive effects? What strategies can genuinely protect your precious nerve tissue from further harm? And, perhaps most importantly, what realistic, actionable steps can you, not as a medical professional or a fitness fanatic, but as a senior desiring less pain, improved balance, and a future rich with greater independence, undertake right now? It is at this juncture that many individuals anticipate encountering overly complicated solutions. They often expect to be prescribed extreme, restrictive diets, to undergo prohibitively expensive medical treatments, or to discover some miraculous instant cure supplement. The profound truth, however, is far simpler than these expectations suggest, and it is precisely this simplicity that often leads it to be tragically overlooked. The initial and most profoundly important step in effectively protecting your nerves is achieving stable blood sugar levels. This does not imply aggressively driving your blood sugar down to impossibly low figures, nor does it necessitate chasing arbitrary, perfect numbers. Rather, the emphasis is on maintaining a consistent and steady blood sugar curve. Nerves do not demand absolute perfection. What they truly thrive on, and indeed require, is unwavering consistency. Every sharp, precipitous spike in blood sugar is physiologically analogous to a small, insidious chemical burn inflicted upon delicate nerve tissue. Therefore, the fewer and less severe these spikes, the less sustained damage your nerves will endure. This fundamental adjustment alone possesses the remarkable capacity to significantly slow or even completely halt the progression of nerve damage. Herein lies the single most pivotal rule that I impart to every senior patient under my care who suffers from neuropathy, and it is a piece of wisdom that most individuals have, surprisingly, never encountered. Never, under any circumstances, consume carbohydrates in isolation. This directive applies universally to all forms of carbohydrates, be it fruit, bread, crackers, or cereal. When carbohydrates are consumed entirely by themselves, devoid of accompanying macronutrients, they are rapidly digested and absorbed, causing a precipitous surge in blood sugar. This sharp rise in glucose triggers an equally dramatic surge of insulin. And critically, during these periods of heightened insulin activity, the body's intrinsic nerve repair mechanisms are effectively shut down. However, when these same carbohydrates are intelligently paired with a source of protein or healthy fat, their absorption into the bloodstream is dramatically slowed. This fundamental principle means that the very same food item that can inflict harm upon your nerves when consumed alone becomes significantly safer and far less damaging when eaten correctly as part of a balanced meal. This singular rule, when consistently applied, can eloquently explain why some seniors develop severe neuropathy, while others, consuming what appears to be a superficially similar diet, do not. It is not always solely about what you eat, but critically, how you eat it. Allow me to provide a tangible, real-world example to solidify this concept. A man named James, 74 years old, sought my consultation because he experienced profound weakness and unsteadiness in his legs by early afternoon each day. He suffered from intense burning feet at night and persistent numb toes throughout the waking hours. James genuinely believed he was adhering to a clean eating regimen. Every morning, for instance, he conscientiously drank a fruit smoothie, typically comprising banana, mango, fruit juice, and yogurt. What James had not realized was that the rapidly absorbed liquid sugar from this seemingly healthy concoction hit his bloodstream almost instantaneously, before his muscles and nerves had any protective buffer. We initiated a simple yet profound dietary adjustment. We eliminated the morning smoothie entirely, replacing it with a more balanced breakfast of eggs and vegetables. Furthermore, we relocated a small portion of fruit to later in the day, specifically to be consumed after a more substantial meal. Within a mere few weeks of implementing these changes, James reported a noticeable easing of his nerve pain, a significant improvement in his balance, and a sustained increase in his energy levels throughout the day. No miraculous intervention occurred. We simply ceased the systematic poisoning of his nerves. The second major and equally crucial step is the complete elimination of liquid sugar from your diet. This means absolutely no fruit juice, no sweetened beverages of any kind, and no smoothies. Even seemingly innocent 100% natural fruit juice is, from a physiological perspective, pure sugar devoid of the essential fiber found in whole fruit. It is this dietary fiber that critically slows the absorption of sugar, thereby protecting your nerves. Without it, sugar hits your system with alarming speed and force. Seniors often gravitate towards juice because it is perceived as easy to consume, gentle on the stomach, and often erroneously recommended as a healthy option. Unfortunately, it stands as one of the fastest and most efficient ways to exacerbate existing neuropathy. If you desire to consume fruit, do so in its whole form, in small, controlled portions, and critically, never on an empty stomach. Consuming whole fruit after a meal is a far safer and less damaging approach than consuming fruit as a standalone snack. This singular dietary modification alone can dramatically mitigate nerve irritation and inflammation. The third vital step involves comprehensive nutrient protection, and this aspect is absolutely critical for long-term nerve health. Nerves are exquisitely dependent upon a very specific array of nutrients to maintain their complex structure and execute their intricate functions. Chief among these essential nutrients is vitamin B12. As previously mentioned, B12 is indispensable for the maintenance and repair of the myelin sheath, the protective fatty layer that insulates nerve fibers. Without an adequate supply of B12, nerves become exposed, incredibly fragile, and prone to misfiring, leading to impaired sensation and function. Alarmingly, a substantial number of seniors are deficient in B12 without even realizing it, a risk significantly heightened for those regularly taking acid blockers or certain other classes of medications. However, B12 is by no means the sole nutrient upon which healthy nerves depend. Magnesium, for instance, plays a fundamental role in supporting efficient nerve signaling and has been shown to reduce uncomfortable cramping and muscle twitching. Folate, another B vitamin, works synergistically with B12 to provide comprehensive protection for nerve tissue. Alpha-lipoic acid, a powerful antioxidant, helps to significantly reduce oxidative stress within nerve cells and has demonstrated promising results in improving neuropathy symptoms in some individuals. It is crucial to understand that while these nutrients do not necessarily cure existing nerve damage, they play an invaluable role in stabilizing and protecting the remaining nerve function, preventing further deterioration. Now, I must issue an important and serious caution. When it comes to nutrient supplementation, more is not necessarily better. In fact, some vitamins, particularly vitamin B6, when consumed in excessively high doses, can paradoxically worsen nerve damage if taken incorrectly or without proper guidance. This underscores the paramount importance of precise testing and professional medical guidance before initiating any significant supplement regimen. Blindly guessing at dosages and nutrient needs can be counterproductive and even harmful. The fourth strategic step focuses on reducing chronic inflammation throughout the body. Inflammation, a natural immune response, becomes problematic when it persists chronically, as it sensitizes nerves and significantly amplifies pain signals. It has the unfortunate capacity to transform what might be mild nerve irritation into severe, debilitating burning or sharp stabbing pain. Highly processed foods, commonly used refined seed oils, such as soybean, corn, and canola oil, and excessive sugar intake all act as potent fuels for systemic inflammation. Conversely, incorporating anti-inflammatory foods into your diet can actively help to calm these inflammatory pathways. Such foods include fatty fish rich in omega-3s, high-quality extra virgin olive oil, a diverse array of colorful vegetables, and potent spices such as turmeric. Less chronic inflammation translates directly into quieter, less irritated nerves, and a reduction in painful symptoms. The fifth and final step in this protective strategy is intelligent movement, but not the kind of intense, strenuous exercise that many seniors dread or find intimidating. You absolutely do not need to engage in high-impact or intense physical activity to protect your nerves. In fact, for some individuals, extreme exercise can actually exacerbate symptoms. What nerves truly require is consistent, gentle circulation. Activities such as moderate walking, especially undertaken after meals, play a dual beneficial role. They help to lower blood sugar levels and simultaneously improve vital blood flow to delicate nerve tissue. Even as little as 10 minutes of gentle walking after eating can yield a tangible difference. When executed correctly and consistently, movement becomes a powerful form of medicine for your nervous system. At this juncture, I want to address a deeply important psychological aspect that many seniors confront. It is common for individuals to feel profound discouragement when they learn that nerve damage heals extraordinarily slowly, if it heals at all. And it is true, nerves possess a very limited capacity for regeneration. However, it is absolutely vital to understand that stopping the progression of damage is an achievement just as profoundly impactful and empowering as reversing existing damage. The ability to experience less pain, to enjoy more restful and restorative sleep, to achieve improved balance, and consequently to suffer fewer debilitating falls. These are not minor improvements. They represent life-altering transformations that significantly enhance overall quality of life and independence. One of the most insidious and harmful beliefs propagated to seniors is the notion that nothing can be done for their neuropathy. This belief itself, left unchallenged, becomes inherently dangerous. I have personally witnessed countless individuals tragically give up hope prematurely, only to experience a rapid and devastating worsening of their condition precisely because the underlying poison was never identified and removed. Allow me to share another compelling patient story. A woman in her early 70s came to my practice reliant on a cane, her movements hesitant and her eyes filled with the fear of falling. She had been unequivocally told that her neuropathy was a permanent and irreversible condition. Yet, when we implemented a comprehensive strategy that included included stabilizing her blood sugar levels, meticulously correcting her underlying nutrient deficiencies, and completely removing all forms of liquid sugar from her diet, a remarkable transformation began. Her chronic nerve pains significantly diminished to the extent that she no longer harbored the crippling fear of walking short distances. While she did not achieve complete freedom from all pain, the regain of her confidence and the ability to move more securely was for her truly life-changing. This brings us to a profoundly crucial overarching point. Neuropathy is not merely about the physical sensation of pain. It is fundamentally about the preservation of your independence. It is about retaining the vital ability to feel the ground beneath your feet, to react quickly and instinctively to changes in your environment, and to possess unwavering trust in the strength and stability of your own legs. Once neuropathy advances beyond a certain critical point, the risk of falls skyrockets dramatically, and falls, tragically, represent one of the most significant and often devastating threats to senior health, mobility, and overall longevity. This is precisely why timing is of paramount importance. Nerve damage detected and addressed in its earlier stages responds far more favorably to intervention than damage that has become advanced and entrenched. Persistent tingling and mild numbness are not irreversible verdicts. They are invaluable warning signs, clear signals emanating from your body, urgently telling you that something fundamentally needs to change within your lifestyle and care regimen. Now, let me equip you with a simple, practical, and immediately actionable plan that you can implement over the next 2 to 4 weeks to begin taking tangible control of your nerve health. First, completely eliminate all forms of liquid sugar from your diet. Second, make it a steadfast rule to pair all carbohydrates you consume with either protein or healthy fat. Third, if you choose to eat fruit, do so only after a meal, and always in small, controlled portions. Fourth, make a conscious effort to walk for at least 10 minutes after eating, whenever circumstances permit. And finally, if you have not had your vitamin B12 levels thoroughly checked by a healthcare professional recently, please make it a priority to request this test. It is absolutely crucial that you do not alter any prescribed medications on your own initiative. However, remain aware of their potential long-term impact on your body's nutrient status and discuss any concerns with your doctor. As you implement these changes, meticulously observe what happens. Pay very close attention to any shifts or improvements in your symptoms. Many seniors report experiencing noticeably less burning at night, significant improvements in the quality of their sleep, and a newfound steadiness in their balance. Even seemingly minor improvements matter profoundly because they serve as powerful affirmations that the damage your nerves have sustained is not yet an unalterable, fixed in stone reality. Here is something I want to articulate with the utmost clarity and conviction. Any individual or entity promising a miraculous, instantaneous cure for neuropathy is, quite simply, not being truthful with you. However, anyone who tells you that absolutely nothing can be done to alleviate or improve your condition is also profoundly mistaken. There exists a vast and incredibly hopeful space in between these two extremes, and it is precisely within this nuanced territory that genuine, meaningful progress and profound improvements in quality of life reside. Neuropathy is, more often than not, the cumulative result of years of quiet, insidious damage. It logically follows that significant improvement will require time, consistent effort, and patience. Nevertheless, the very first, most fundamental, and most empowering step is always to identify and effectively stop the source of the poison.